Hiya, Playcation page. I had to try and remember where I've gone live. I've been going live all over the place in face ache lately, and I suddenly had to try and remember where I was. So, Playcation experience page is where I'm at. So I have this thing where I get an idea for a live or to share something, and I think, oh, I should write that, take my time, back away, have a think about it first, and then the inspiration disappears. Frustration, because then I go, I should have done it then, beat myself up, blah, blah, blah. Anybody that does lives or messaging online knows this thing where you just go, I'll do it later. Let me just think about it a bit more. Wait till it's perfect. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is because I had an idea for something, picked up a book that I knew it would be in, read the page that I wanted, went, there's the message, going live. So ta-da, here I am, live and all. Again, it's just me, hiya. So at the moment we've got a Crete retreat that we're promoting called a Soul Alignment Retreat for Entrepreneurs, which is all about being able to create the content for your business, to create the heart message, and to do it in a way that not it's all clever and comes from here, but it's truly connected to your energetic center, to your heart message, and comes from a place of confidence and clarity and strength of knowing who you are, why you are, and what you're bringing to the world. Kind of clearing away the messages of, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't have the tech in place, oh no, it's not clever enough, am I doing it the right way? Taking all those things out the way, and for one whole week being able to step into who you are, or the people that are going, step into who they are, deep down, soul purpose, and say, this is what I'm creating to share with my community, my tribe, the people I want to communicate with, to bring your ideas into the world with confidence and love. So the whole impact of that Crete retreat is to bring a feminine way to do business, and not a feminine way as in, okay, all the business models, all that kind of stuff, dressed up prettily, but truly down in feminine power that sits in your pelvis, what's called your hara, and to bring that out, that deep knowing that women have, that intuitiveness, that working in a collective, being with other people, sharing, collaborating for a week to bring out your best message. So it's being held in that kind of what people call sisterhood or feminine energy. We're doing that for a whole week. Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. Anyway, there'll be links to all the things I speak about in this live in the comments. But the reason we chose Crete is because we went to Crete in May and did a retreat there. And there's something about the energy of that place that is just amazing. It's a beautiful island and just has a feel of rocks and earth and the water, and just beautiful. And it's not very kind of lush vegetated kind of island because it's so dry and hot, and the cats come to have a chat at the same time. But it is a beautifully earthy place, and we felt, me, Sue and Amy, felt that Crete was the ideal place to do this feminine energy for your business retreat. So there's this book that I read, though, a good couple of years ago now, longer than that, called Natural Born Heroes. Really, really good book. I highly recommend it. Not only in terms of the physiological information in it, because this guy, Christopher McDougall, wrote Born to Run as well, which is about barefoot running, free running. Very interesting. I read that book and went, I think I might like to learn to run. Didn't last long. But this one is all about the tenacity and the resilience of Cretans, people that live in Crete. And he explains a lot about the geography of the island, the history of the island, and the sociology of the island in the story he tells about World War II. And the way Crete was really influential in bringing the German army down, and almost turning the tide of World War II because of their resilience, their tenacity to fight, to hold their ground, to stay put. And because of the ruggedness of the island, the Germans couldn't really make inroads into conquering and defeating Crete. And so lots of anecdotal stories about the Second World War speak of how many defeats on Crete actually weakened the German army, and Hitler became obsessed with Crete and drove a lot of his forces into that place, which weakened their influence in other places. And there's a great story in here about during World War II of some British soldiers who got to know the locals and became part of the community, respected and part of the resistance in Crete. And they had this great plan to turn the tide of the war by capturing a German general. And this part of the book, I want to read you this part because this is the bit that really resonated with me about the importance of why we're going to Crete and why we do what we do as well. And the whole story goes about how these British soldiers learned to be resilient like people from Crete, who can run across this mountainous terrain without stopping, who can live in almost food depleted conditions and reserve their energy, but be physically resilient, but spiritually, emotionally, and mentally resilient as well, because of the culture they have on the island of we are family, we are tribal, we're connected, and we honor that connection by respecting, supporting, and keeping each other safe. And that's really what resonated with me in the story. There's a part of the story that I was just reading before that speaks about how they captured this German general, and they had to go through a certain village, but they needed a donkey, a mule, to help them get across certain terrain. So this young guy from a village who kind of was the main donkey owner, because it was the only mule in the village, offered to take them across the mountains to the next point so that they could land up at their escape point. And during World War II, the Germans would come into a village and threaten the village and say, if you don't give up your traitors, your resistance people, we'll kill everybody in the village. And they threatened them. And any inkling of weakness that was had, they would burn the village to the ground and take people to work in the labor camps or kill people. And in this village in particular, there was such a strong solidarity between all the people in the village that nobody gave up any information to the Germans at all. Oh, hold on, my Mac's about to run out of power. I have to plug it in. Oh, can I have the cable? Thanks. Cheers. That's no good. Okay, halfway through a story, gotta unplug. Never mind. Thanks now. Ah! That's what happens when you work on your laptop all day and forget to charge it. So, where was I? I was at a place of telling you. Okay, so this village in particular formed such a strong solidarity as these British soldiers were hiding up in the mountains nearby to them with the German general, and the Germans were scouring the landscape, looking to obviously find them because they'd received intelligence that they were in that area. And everybody in that village kind of banded together and said, we know nothing about it. And apparently in the story relays that 40 people, men from that village, were taken and interrogated for 5 weeks and eventually released because they didn't give up any information. And the story in this book is relayed by Christopher McDougall, and a guy he was traveling through Crete with to discover the Crete way of life and why they were so resilient and why they're so hardy and the culture that kept them safe during World War II. And they were actually interviewing the young guy who owned that mule and walked the British soldiers across the landscape. And as this older gentleman, his name was Yorgos, was relaying the information to him, Christopher McDougall asked him, he said, I'm going to read you this bit because it made me go, that's it right there, that point. He says, if I can ask a question, would you do it again? Now that you're 91 years old, looking back, the Germans were murdering entire villages. Was it wise to put your family at risk? Vasilios, the guy who had brought the older gentleman to see Christopher, began translating, but erupted before he finished. Everyone from this village was a patriot, he simmered, outraged I'd suggest otherwise. But Yorgos quietly raised a hand. It's a good question, Yorgos said, and then gave an answer which stayed with me for a long time, and the more I thought about it, kept extending further and further. From the 4 of us around the table to the ends of that tiny village, all the way across this embattled island and back to my own home and family. When you live in a place like this, Crete, small by itself, you're brought up to give help, not wait for it, Yorgos began. When your neighbor needs something, he needs you, the person he knows, not the army, not the police, you. And if you're not there, someday you'll have to look him in the face and explain. Vasilis was listening so intently, Chris had to prompt him to translate. The Germans didn't know us, and they believed they could not lose. the August continued, they believed they'd never have to look anyone in the face and explain. They'd never have to pay for what they did. And I believe that's why we defeated them, because we have to answer to one another, and they did not. Now that for me spoke volumes as to what's so often missing when we are running a micro business, when we're working for ourselves and we're trying to build a community of people who buy from us, interact with us. And it can be quite lonely to work like that. And often it's quite intimidating to see bigger businesses or small businesses that are starting to grow and expand to 6 figures, 7 figures, all that kind of thing. To think, how do I still run my business and be able to look people in the face, to be able to say, I'm there for you, I support you, I'm still connecting with you as a human being. And where do we, running our own businesses, especially women in business, get that kind of support from? And that is why we wanted to run the Crete retreat as well, is for the masterminding value that we're going to offer on that retreat. That value of being able to say to each other, I look you in the face. I belong in the same setting you do, and I'm here with you. I will support you. I will be with you. I will help you through this patch. And then when you leave Crete, I'll still be the one. You have to look me in the face and say, what have you done with what you've learned, with what you've brought out of you, with what you're sharing? And it's that word that's often used in ways to make people terrified, accountability. Instead of the word accountability, we like to use the word belonging. A sense of, I belong to this group of people. There's a connection that's been formed. And because of that, I have to look those people in the face and say, I see you, but you see me as well. And I allow you to see me, all that I am and all that I bring to the world. And to be seen in that way, in your business especially, is to do business in a feminine way. Not to say, yeah, I put everything on front and on top and do all the shiny things, but to be completely seen and to say, this is who I am, how I am, why I am, and this is what I have to share from my heart, warts and all. And that's what we want to bring to Crete, is that ability to put that message out and feel supported as you do. To have people around you say, yeah, I see you, and you can show me your face because you'll be accepted here for who you are and how you are. And in light of that, we realize not everybody can come to Crete with us, time-wise, money-wise, whatever it is. So we're also doing something from the 21st of September called 100 Days to New Year, because on the 21st of September, it is 100 Days to New Year. And the aim of that, the intention, our heart space behind that is exactly the same thing, to allow that space, that group setting where you feel like you belong, where you can say, I'm asking for help. And because we see each other face to face and we connect with each other, open up and share stuff, we say, if I can't step up and help you, I have to show my face to you. And it's not the kind of thing where we go, our 100 Days to New Year is not going to be, okay, so bring your business idea and we'll just ask each week, did you do the thing on your list? No. Our 100 Days to New Year will be about who you are as a person, who you are becoming in the 100 Days to New Year, that ultimately affects the way you do your business, that ultimately affects the way you approach your career or the ideas you're bringing to the world. And that 100 Days to New Year will not just be about your business blueprint and your business plan to the end of the year. What are you going to achieve in this quarter? Blah, 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 all that. It will be about how you take care of yourself, how you bring your heart to your message, how you look after your health even, how you present yourself. What are the struggles you're really having? What's really stopping you getting those things done that you think are the priority? But obviously if you're not doing them, it's not because you're self-sabotaging, you're lazy. There's something underlying that's creating that disconnect from why that thing is important in your business, because something else is obviously more important because you're not getting it done. And the community and the mastermind, the accountability, the belonging we're going to create in that 100 Days to New Year will encourage this. It'll be a chance to turn up each week and say, I belong here and I'm seen and I can bring who I am and receive support and give support as well, and know that you are seen, heard and accepted for who you are and how you are. Because we find women in working in micro businesses on their own especially can find that the hardest part, especially coming into winter where everything goes, ooh, hibernate, shut the door, close it down a bit. And then suddenly Christmas, busy, busy, busy. Look like you've got it all together, happy, happy. And then New Year, now I'm meant to push myself to achieve more. we thought we wanted to negate all that New Year bullshit and say, let's get you connected to you now, September, running up to Christmas, so that Christmas is a celebration, a time where you can confidently have time connecting with family, with friends, enjoying celebration of lights, because that's what the time of year is. And then in the new year, almost come step back and go into hibernation and say, everything's in place. It's running as it's meant to run. And not do that push, drive, oh, really busy, when you actually just want to be in bed sometimes with a book going, oh. So that is 100 Days to New Year, and why we're doing it. It's all around the supporting each other and being able to say, I step up and I stand in space for you. I hold space for you. I support you because I want to be able to look you in the face and say, I was there for you. I'm there with you. And that's why we're doing Crete and 100 Days to New Year, both of which will be in the links below this. Apparently, Amy, good, she's listened to this going, oh my God, what is she saying now? What's she making me do now? That right there is what I'm saying. So that's it. Have a look at the linked comments down below, and that will give you the links to all the sales pagey things. And if you want to join us for any of that, both of those, it's best if you hop on some kind of connection with us and have a chat through them, because it's not just a, oh, buy that, click the button, we forget about you, because both of them are about belonging. We want to chat to you, know why you want to be part of it, ensure that you know what it's about and that you are bringing your correct energy to that for us and for the people that will, or the others that will be part of it as well. So we will want to have a chat with you and say, what's up, what you need, what you got going on, is this going to work for you, is it going to work for us, etc. So that's all. Link in the comments. The end. It's now Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Ta-ta.